Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
The Bison keep on winning. Highlights of a 17th straight win, plus a thriller in St. Paul last night as UND knocks off St. Thomas. Hot Mic begins now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the final Friday of the month edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning to our friends in Sioux Falls, KNBN, Western South Dakota, and all parts in between at Inforum.com. Final Friday of the week is here. It's a football term everybody uses. Penultimate day of the month. That's a fancy one we like to use as well. Welcome, everybody, to the big show on this 30th day of January 2026. I am Dom Izzo, host of said program. The week is done. We have made it all the way to Friday already. Anticipation of a big weekend. Some would say a monster weekend. That would be our family. This is the fourth year. Gonna say that we are traveling up to the Dome this weekend for Monster Jam. So if I see you there on Sunday, Jack Matt is beyond excited again for round 4 of this. He's already given me the lowdown on who's going to be there, all the list of all the trucks, all that good stuff. So we're pumped up for that coming up on Sunday. That's how we're filling our non-football Sunday this week. We got a packed show coming up for you here today to get you ready for the weekend. Big basketball night last night here in town, around the area as well. Whether it was here with the Bison women, we mentioned the UND game, which we'll show you here in a second. The Timberwolves played late last night and looked like the team that could make it to the NBA Finals, frankly, with all the rumors now swirling. We chatted about it briefly at the end of the show yesterday about the Giannis steam, and there might be more than steam with this, with Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Timberwolves. I don't know how they do this, they being the Wolves, without having any players left, but there might be something to this with the trade deadline now 6 days out. We'll get to some of that coming up later on in the show. We'll also check in Mobile one last time to get ready for the Senior Bowl tomorrow with a really cool guest to get us ready for the game tomorrow after a week of practices. And safe to say, and this isn't me talking, this is NFL Network analysts. Charles Davis, Daniel Jeremiah said yesterday, quote, that Cole Payton had a really good week. Davis added that people knew about him, but now going to have to take a second look at Cole after the kind of week he had. We're going to have more on that coming up later on in our show today. You're also going to hear from Bison women's basketball player, I should say former now Bison women's basketball player, Claire Stern, about a really neat event coming up at the Bison game tomorrow. We spoke on it a little bit yesterday with Jory Collins. If you missed it, we had Claire on in September when she announced that she was medically retiring from the game and everything that went around with that, the fact that she has a genetic heart condition that she discovered, frankly, in the middle of the night in June after suffering 5 separate cardiac events, basically heart attacks, and had to give up the game. Now, here we are 4.5 months later, and her foundation is going. You're going to hear from Claire about what the last few months have been like. If you missed our original interview, I strongly encourage you to go back and watch that. You can find all of our past shows available WDAY+. If you search Inforum.com and Claire, that'll be the first thing that pops up. It's remarkable strength. That's one of the few times that I've done a
a show here and frankly been speechless. She was amazing in describing it, and harrowing is the best way to describe that. We'll hear from Claire coming up here in just a little bit as well. Speaking of her team, they keep on winning, which is just remarkable what happened last night. That wasn't the biggest thing that happened, though, last night in the Summit League. The biggest thing that happened in the Summit League is the longest home win streak in the country is no more in men's basketball. That's thanks to Paul Sather and the UND men. We had Sather on the show on Wednesday, previewing the matchup with St. Thomas. UND goes into St. Paul as a decided underdog, even though they're just a half game back of St. Thomas starting the night. Not anymore, because they went toe-to-toe with the Tommies last night. This is a great game. Garrett Anderson, the San Jose State transfer, was fantastic. Drills a triple to tie the game up at 48. St. Thomas, we know the weapons they got. This is one of them. Nick Janowski hits the three, the Nebraska transfer. St. Thomas went up by as many as 10. Eli King, how many big shots has he hit this season? That gets it to a 4-point game. It's a 4-point game here when Anderson hits another three. It's 70-69 with just under 6 minutes to go in the game. 5-point lead here. Zach Kraft, how good has the Red River kid been? Up and under. Makes it a 3-point St. Thomas lead with 3:40 to go. It's 78-75 St. Thomas. Minute to go. UND gets the rebound. Drive and finish from Anthony Smith, who's back in his hometown. It's a 1-point game. Here's the craziness. It's St. Thomas leads by 1. Minnesota tries to inbound the ball. It gets stolen. King throws it up and scores with 7 seconds to go to give UND the lead. Now, St. Thomas, though, has a chance. Janowski, the guy who can hit it from 30 feet, throws it up. It's off the mark, and UND goes in and beats St. Thomas 81-80. The first home loss for St. Thomas since January of 2024. That was to UND at the old Schoenecker Arena. 28-game home win streak is snapped. That is a monstrous win for the Fighting Hawks. 20 points for Garrett Anderson. We had Garrett on when we were at Summit League Media Day down in Sioux Falls in October, describing how this team can come together. Man, they struggle out of the gates. They get a big-time win last night. The other game last night, South Dakota. South Dakota finds out that Isaac Bruns, their best player, averaging 20 a game, he's done for the year with a foot injury. USD has lost 8 guys for the season now. Coyotes get a win over Oral Roberts to keep the Golden Eagles winless in Summit League play. USD, of course, will play North Dakota State coming up Saturday evening in Vermillion. That's no walk in the park. That's going to be a difficult game for the Bison. So here are the up-to-date standings as you wake up this morning. North Dakota State still sits on top. The Bison, of course, are the mini-bye at 8-0. They start the second half of conference play tomorrow night at South Dakota. It's the back end of a doubleheader. I'll get to that in a second of what's going on in Vermillion tomorrow. UND now holds second place, half a game ahead of St. Thomas. UND was picked 8th in the preseason poll for everything that they lost. I think they lost 80% of their scoring. That is a hell of a job by Paul Sather. Let's just say it right now. St. Thomas moves to 3rd, and then there's a clear delineation after that with USD. I don't know how they've won 4 games. They only have about 4 guys. I mean, honestly, the Coach of the Year race, we still have 8 games to go. Richmond's done an amazing job. Sather has done an amazing job with a team that was picked 8th. Eric Peterson's got to get some love as well. Depending on how USD finishes, the fact that they're down 8 guys and they've won 4 league games, awfully impressive. Omaha sits after that. Let's not count out the Mavericks yet. Omaha, beat South Dakota State. We showed you that yesterday on the show with a win over the Jackrabbits. Then there's SDSU with a biggie coming up. Remember, the Jacks still get UND in their place. They still get St. Thomas in their place, and they still get the Bison in Brookings. So SDSU can launch themselves right back into this if they're able to sweep those games. Then Denver And then it looks like Kansas City and ORU are going to play in that opening round game on Wednesday at the Summit League Tournament with the winner to play the 1 seed. That was what happened last night on the men's side. What a win for UND. That's awfully impressive. They are flustering teams with the way that they take away the basketball. And a reminder here, UND still has the Bison coming in 2 weeks' time. I believe Valentine's Day weekend that they're playing the Bison up in Grand Forks. That's a CBS Sports Network game that got picked up there at the Betty in a couple weeks' time. That's what happened on the men's side. On the women's side, another night, another win for North Dakota State. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this because I covered this team when they would routinely lose by 25. They would lose by 30. They lost to a Division II team in an exhibition. Like, it was bad, folks. So to see last night when they are up 30 at halftime and they outscore a team by 20-some-odd points in the second quarter, it's still jarring for me. And it started right away. Marissa Frost went right down and scored, and basically Bison put the hammer down. They never trailed in this game. Carrington Asp continues to develop that left hand in the post. Frost was great again. Hits a 3 here. Bison race out to a 12-point lead. Denver got it to 6, and then after that, the hammer went down in the second quarter. Frost hits another 3 there. Puts the Bison up by 12 to force a Denver timeout. Amelia Hobson hit a couple threes off the bench. Lead went to 14. Before you know it, I'm looking down. The lead here after Jossie Schiller hits a 3. NDSU hit 6 threes alone in the second quarter. Oh, yeah, Avery Coonan was playing last night and won. The double-double streak stopped. She still had 17 and 8. It wasn't like it was a bad night. Here, this is the end of the first half. Tells you how it went for Denver. They just give it away. Asp scores right before the horn. That made it a 30-point Bison lead at 48-18. Frost, who I thought had her best game of the season against USD, backed it up with an even better game last night. Bison win it by 40. 95-55 the final for a 17th consecutive win. They move to 8-0 in Summit League play. Frost with a season-high 22. They had 5 players in double figures. And now have the second longest win streak in the country behind Connecticut. Jory wants to talk. Let's let him talk.
That we're ready. And it's not just 1, 2, or 3 people. It's 7, 8, 9, or 10. And I think that's, as a coach, that makes you feel good that, hey, at least the other team's going to get our best shot. Whether that's good enough, we're going to find out when the ball's tipped up. But we've been pretty locked in and ready to play.
I think so. I mean, I really like to get in the defensive groove and get stops first and then kind of flow into transition and offense, and I think being that locked in helps.
Locked in the last couple days. There's no doubt about that. So, with the win, Bison now are 19-2 on the year. 8-0 in Summit League play. That alone, just soak it in that the 2 North Dakota State basketball teams are now a combined 16-0 on the year. Just, again, I'm having a hard time putting words to it simply because they've been bad for so long, and Jory Collins has done a heck of a job with this team. Specifically, I'd say the last 3 years, where they finished second in the Summit League, we remember in 2023, and then had the complete flame out the Summit League tournament, went and played in the WNIT. They lost to Oregon, and it was kind of a missed opportunity, right? 2024, they go make it all the way to the Summit League tournament championship game for the first time, had a chance to beat South Dakota State, lost that game, got to the WNIT, won a game, beat Montana, scared the heck out of Minnesota. Frankly, should have won that game, but had a really good run. Then last year, again, finished third in the league, again get kicked out of the Summit League tournament way too early, again to Kansas City. Turned it around, though, make the WNIT, win a couple games, get some momentum going, and now here they are in 2024. 26, unbeaten. And as you wake up this morning, they are 42nd in the net rankings. 42nd, folks. I mean, they're 2 spots ahead of South Dakota State. Some of the teams they're ahead of: Utah, Miami, Arizona State, BYU, Kansas, who has Elle Evans. Elle Evans would be on this team had she not transferred. They're ahead of Kansas right now. Florida, James Madison, Indiana, Purdue. That's who North Dakota State is ahead of in the net rankings. They have Oral Roberts coming in tomorrow afternoon. ORU rallied and beat UND by 9 last night, and this is not the same Oral Roberts team from a year ago. I mentioned that briefly on the broadcast last night. Their former head coach, Kelsey Musick, left and got the Arkansas job at the end of last season. A handful of the players either graduated or left as well. They still have some talent, but this is not the team of a year ago. Everything is pointing, honestly, to that game at the end of February between the Bison and the Jackrabbits. It really is for the league championship. The Bison have this stretch now: Oral Roberts coming up at home, then their next 3 on the road. They go to Omaha, who's won 2 games all year, none against Division I opponents. They have Kansas City in there, and Kansas City, last year, you remember, Bison didn't even score a basket in the fourth quarter of their game at Kansas City a year ago. Do you see that happening with this year's team? Because I don't. And then they go and play at UND. And then 3 of their last 4 at home, which includes the last 2 against the Jacks and UND to wrap up the regular season. Got to imagine there's going to be some big crowds you'd hope for at the Shack. About 1,200 were there last night, which, frankly, that's not bad considering Denver doesn't bring any juice. It was chilly out last night. They were giving away the free jerseys. That's not bad. Let's see. I imagine there'll be more butts in the seats tomorrow for the game with ORU. Last thing before we wrap up our opening segment, got home last night, and the convenient thing about the Timberwolves starting at 8:30 is I got to watch the second half, basically, of the game. And the first thing I wondered is, where has this team been all year? Because this is the one that I was signing up to watch. Playing the best team in the league, and the Wolves were great. Just say it. That guy, pretty darn good last night. Wolves defensively were all over Chet Holmgren. Dante gets it started. Jaden McDaniels throws it down again. That's another reason why I don't want them to trade him. He was fantastic last night. So's this guy. SGA, he's going to make his shots. The reigning MVP makes it a 10-point game. Thunder get the steal. Lou Dortmund, a nice play there. There's Chet with the follow. Holmgren had 15 points and another homecoming for him last night. Wolves are up 19. Look at the Euro step and the finish from Ant. That made it a 20-point lead. Jalen Clark, play him more, gets the steal. How about some Wolves ball movement and a triple in the corner from Edwards to get the lead back to 19 at the end of the third quarter. Target Center was going crazy last night. Here you see Isaiah Hartenstein with a full-on clip there of Edwards, who left the game briefly. Ant is spectacular at that, of leaving the game and then making a dramatic return. Hartenstein scores down low. Thunder got it to as little as 12 here off the steal. In transition as Holmgren starts it loose there for the lay-in to Jay Williams. But honestly, the Wolves never really blinked in this game. Ant drives and finishes. They got it back to a 22-point win. Some garbage time buckets from the Thunder. Minnesota dominated this game, 123-111. Wolves with their 3rd straight win. And honestly, Stan Van Gundy, I love him. This was my first actual sit-in and watch an Amazon basketball broadcast. It's really good, folks. I'm telling you, Amazon is spending the funds that they want to do sports right. They certainly have with the NFL, and they're not messing around with the NBA because they had Ian Eagle, Steve Nash, and Stan Van Gundy were on the call. Anyway, my point, Van Gundy said the Wolves beat the JV Warriors on Monday, which is true. Steph didn't play. Draymond didn't play. They played want to say the JV Mavericks on Wednesday. We know who wasn't playing for Dallas. This is a legit win. 26 for Ant, 21 for McDaniels. Again, if this was the rebuttal to with everything that was swirling yesterday, because all day yesterday you heard the reports out of the ESPN types that Giannis would like maybe a matchup with the Wolves, that he's made it known that it's time to be done in Milwaukee. I don't know how in the world Minnesota does this without gutting the team. I don't want them to trade Julius Randle. I don't want them to certainly trade Jaden McDaniels. I don't know how you do it without including those two guys. Maybe that was the rebuttal to say, don't break this up. We can do this. They're still going to have to do something if it's not Giannis related. Next two are on the road. They've got the Grizzlies coming up on Saturday. But you start winning games in the Western Conference with how tight the standings are. You can go from 7th to 3rd just with the last 2 days. The Wolves moved out of the 7th spot, now up to 5. A half game ahead of the Lakers and a half game behind the Rockets for 4th in the Western Conference. That's what it happens when you win a couple games in a row with how tightly things are compacted. I'll say this, beating a team like the Thunder have only lost 11 times. Wolves have clipped them a couple now. It's the regular season. I get it. But, man, when they try, they're awfully darn good. We have a packed show coming up for you here today on this Friday morning. Mention you hear from Claire Stern coming up in just a few moments. Our guest lineup brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Get ready for a busy high school hoops night. Morgan Milbrath will join us. Cheyenne girls basketball head coach. The Mustangs with a big overtime win on Tuesday against Horace. Right now, they are right in the mix of the EDC race in 3rd place. We'll visit with Morgan about year 1 coaching at Cheyenne. That's coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, we'll check in Mobile, Alabama with a big week for Cole Payton. Cole's mom, Lynda, is going to join us from Alabama. They got there yesterday. We'll check out practice. They'll be there, of course, for the game tomorrow. See what mom has to say about what this week has been like for her son, getting some national exposure over the last few days. And then at 10:35, we'll check in with my pops to get ready for the week between the games. He has to stop snowblowing to do the show today. You'll see why. I mean, when we complain about, and the weather we've had has been legit with negative 35 wind chill it was today. Wait till you see the snow at my dad's house. That's legit lake effect snow, what he's been dealing with. So we'll check in with Pops off the snow blowing coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Friday. We'll take our first break. We come back. The remarkable story of Claire Stern of dealing with ending her basketball career and what she's doing now. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on this Friday morning right after this. Back on our Friday morning spectacular reminder, we've got Bison Wrestling coming up for you tonight inside the Shield Center. Next to last home match of the year for the Bison. They've got Northern Colorado in tonight. Coverage begins 7 o'clock. Live right here on WDAY Extra. Busy weekend for us. We've got basketball last night, wrestling tonight, basketball tomorrow afternoon, and then wrestling on Sunday afternoon. So a lot going on our channels, and we'll give you all the details on that before we say goodbye here on this Friday. Now, we mentioned earlier the Bison winning a 17th consecutive game, and they've done it all the while without a player they fully anticipated having this year in Maple Grove's Claire Stern. If you missed the story from late summer, early fall, that Claire had to medically retire from the game of basketball after finding out she had a genetic heart condition. How she found out that she had said condition is one of the most harrowing stories you're going to hear in just a second. Tomorrow, NDSU and Claire have partnered together to give some more attention to the foundation that she started at 20 years old, the Rare DNA Foundation, to find out more about this condition that Claire has, which has affected less than 100 people, it seems like, in the United States. And the fact that, frankly, that she's still here is remarkable, considering the amount, the mortality rate of this actually gets when people are babies. And the fact that she's lived this long with it, played basketball at a pretty high level, is remarkable. Here is our interview with one Claire Stern.
I was completely fine. I was working out that morning, and then all of a sudden I passed out on my couch, or what I thought passed out. And then went into the ER, had another one of those episodes in the ER room, and that's when they realized that it was cardiac arrest that I was having and not just a pass out or a seizure. So I got rushed back, and I think I said 4 more that night. And they had no idea what was going on. And once I seemed stable enough, that's when they transferred me over to the U of M Fairview in an ambulance. So I kind of got rushed over there. And then I was stable the rest of the night, but definitely out of it, and they had no idea what was happening, what triggered it. And then I was admitted to the cardiac ICU unit for 2 more weeks, where I did tests, heart biopsies, blood draws, muscle biopsies. I think I saw every doctor in that unit. It got to the point where people were just coming by because they thought I was cool. They just wanted to see me. And I left the hospital still with no real answer, but stable enough. And I was pushing for it every day. I did not want to be in there anymore, which I think challenged my doctors a little bit, but eventually they caved. And then a couple days later, we got a call from genetic testing showing that I had this PPA2 gene mutation, and they said it was super rare and they don't really know much about it.
So, like, one night you're thinking I'm a healthy Division I athlete, the next I'm done playing all sports. I mean, how long? I don't even know if have you wrapped your mind around that yet?
No, it's definitely still something that I'm processing through. I think being here in the beginning, it kind of just felt like I was an injured player, and eventually I get back. And I think as we get more and more into the season, it's becoming more real. But my teammates have been a really good support system throughout it, and they've been doing so good this whole time. So I think that's helped keep me upbeat and happy about it.
I was going to say, I was asking Avery about this, about like her coming off the floor and seeing you and not being sad or not feeling badly for you. On the flip side, how is it for you to sit on the bench and not being able to be out there?
It's definitely difficult, but I'm super proud of my team, and I love all of my teammates so much. And every time they do something good, like, I just want to jump up and celebrate them. Obviously, it's difficult not being able to go out there. Every day I wish I'd be able to come out and practice, and never thought I'd miss running on the baseline as much as I do. But yeah, like I said, I'm super proud of them, and having all their support and their love throughout this has made me just want to cheer even harder for them.
See, on the flip side, I'd wonder, man, to me, it's too much to be this close to. Did you ever feel that way or ever get to that point?
There's definitely times in practices where I'm like, it's harder to be here than it is to not be here. But I just try and come in with a smile every day and know that everything happens for a reason, and I'm just super grateful to still be here. I'm really happy Jory chose to keep me around. I love coming into practice every day. Even if it's hard, I still love being here and being surrounded by all of them.
I was just asking Molly about last week of being back close to home. You know what I mean? What was that like as well, going back where Twin Cities is, 5 of you are from there. What was that like last week?
It was a lot of fun. I was really happy to be able to see everyone, and staying in the hotel downtown, I was still able to see some of my friends. They all stopped by, and that was a lot of fun. Haven't seen them for a while. And I just, Minnesota's my home. I love being there when I am.
The fact, I know I visited with your mom about this, that you were going to do this foundation thing. What has it been? What you thought? Has it been like more of a workload? Just describe launching this and what the response has been.
I didn't really know what to expect originally, but I'm really happy that we started it. The main reason is to just raise awareness for all of this. The doctors did all they could, but I'm not okay with the answer if they just don't know. I think we need to know more about it. Like I said, I didn't really know what to expect. I think it's started off pretty well. I'm really excited for this upcoming awareness night. I think that's going to help it a lot too.
When you talk to people about this, is it hard for them not to feel bad for you, and how do you react to that?
Yeah, there's a lot of times where people respond with like, I'm so sorry that happened. And, I'm growing to accept the fact that, like, this is my life now. I can't do anything about it. I can't control what happens. I couldn't control what happened. So just trying to accept that part. And I try to remind people, like, it could always be worse. There's always worse scenarios. There's people doing with a lot worse than I am right now.
You could not be here.
Yeah, exactly. Right? There's a lot of stuff that could be worse in this scenario.
What do you expect or hope to get out of draw more attention to it? And what can this become? Is this something that becomes your life after college is done?
I just really hope to raise more awareness for it. We've found some people that are able to invest into this and invest into finding a better treatment plan for it. And I just really hope that the people here can feel impacted and know that this is an important thing. Like, even though they say it's rare, we don't really know how rare is it. I think that's an important takeaway of it too. And I mean, I hope I can be really successful and they can have a great night and they can love it. And yeah.
We were visiting off air that you just went through some bout of checkups and everything is good. How much physical exertion can you do right now?
I think previously when I was talking to you, I was saying I was working on jogging. Yeah. I'm able to do that now, which is really exciting. It's a lot different from what I'm used to doing, used to being in the weight room and lifting a ton of weights with Mead and then coming out here and practicing for 2 hours. So saying I'm be able to jog a mile sounds a little pathetic, but it is important for me. And I think just understanding my different levels of how much I can exert myself and how much I can lift, how much I can work out, and understanding that there's a balance with that too.
You've already had to deal with a broken back. I mean, missing multiple years of basketball, now this. Do you ever wonder, like, why? Why is all this on my shoulders at this young of an age?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot to think about. But like I said, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and God's got me in his hands. And I think having the broken back in high school helped me prepare for this in a little bit. I learned more things about myself then than I ever did before, and my life outside of basketball. And I think that helped me prepare for here and be able to understand and comprehend it better.
Remarkable young woman there. And tomorrow, when the Bison get out on the floor for warm-ups for the matchup with Oral Roberts, if you're watching the game on television or going to be at the game, they'll be wearing shirts that have the Rare DNA Foundation logo on it. Literally, she started this up. Got a website, the whole 9 yards. This is not a pie in the sky. This idea. This is happening right now to raise awareness with the public, frankly, with doctors. You heard Claire say that they heard the answer, that wasn't good enough, and want to know what caused this and to let people know what's about it. And you think, and Jory summed this up perfectly on Wednesday when we visited about this, that you'll mourn the loss of the tremendous talent that she was on the basketball floor, and the fact that, I did the story with her last March about coming back from a broken back that she had in high school to get out there and play, and then have this. This is a much bigger thing that she's doing than anything she could do in basketball. Pretty good stuff there. We'll break. When we come back, we'll chat some high school hoops. Surging in the EDC of the Sheyenne girls after their big win over West Fargo Horace. We'll visit with head coach Morgan Milbrath on the other side of the break. Hot Mike returns after this. Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning show off and rolling. We'll check into the Senior Bowl coming up here in about 20 minutes. It is a Friday, and the final Friday in January. Breaking news, in case you didn't know that, which means it's a busy basketball night across the area. Lots going on. On Wednesday's show, we started with the thriller that happened out in West Fargo. The Sheyenne girls knocked off Horace in overtime. It's great to have Morgan Milbrath back on our show, her first-year head coach of the Sheyenne girls. We had her on this summer after she got the job, and now we can chat actually how it's going, especially after you had the win on Tuesday. Thanks for doing this. We were just visiting off air. Do you have a voice left after what happened Tuesday night?
Yeah, no, like I mentioned a little bit ago, I'm definitely still recovering from Tuesday night. It's between the high school coaching basketball and that game and just how electric it was, and then my day job as an elementary PE teacher, I'm really just hanging on.
All right, let's go back and relive the final minute and a half of regulation for what you remember and how it played out, how your team performed down the stretch, or knowing full well Horace was going to make a rally and make some shots.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my girls played pretty good. We had a couple late turnovers from the pressure they put on, and Horace was able to capitalize that and close up the game. So taking care of the ball a little bit, or a free throw here or there. But I mean, we could have said that at any point of the game, at any point. I think the girls really stayed true to themselves, though. They didn't panic. They didn't overreact. When those pressure situations happen, if we can just stay calm and do our thing, and I think our girls did a really good job of that, and we were able to pull it out.
Now, I'm not going to bring up old wounds here, but it does make sense that you played Horace right before Christmas. They beat you by 52. You just beat them. What's changed in a month?
A lot of things have changed in a month, but I think the biggest thing is when we started this season, if you look back at our schedule to start the season, we knew we were starting with a bunch of big name teams that had a lot of returning notable athletes, and kudos to those players, teams, they all showed up. They all played hard to start the season, and they were ready to start the season. We knew we'd have bumps along the way, and the girls were on board with that. They knew that our goal each game was to get better and to have a plan in place so that when we get a month from now to be able to execute in tournament season. And while we had an awesome game on Tuesday, we still have things that we're working to improve, and it was fun to have a big win along the way. But I think having a program and a culture where everyone's on board and knowing, hey, this is a journey and it's going to go up and down and it's going to have its battles. And at the end of the day, if we can do all of the little things right, we're going to be okay.
All right, so 2 things out of Tuesday. At the end of regulation, Horace steals it. Lakin Donnelly has a chance to win it from her knees. What's going through your mind?
I'll be honest, as like any coach, you're like, this is the person who could do that. She can do that. She is that talented of an athlete, and all kudos to her and her abilities. Like, she's on the ground and like watching the clock, and I'm like, oh yeah, she doesn't have, it's like she's bobbling the ball a little bit. All of a sudden she gets her hand on it. I'm like, oh no. And it goes up, and it's just that moment of like, my girls work both teams work so hard, and it's that moment of like silence. You can almost hear the gym go silent. Even if it's not, it just has that moment. It's just like, oh no, what's going to go? What's happening?
So on the flip side, though, in overtime, Zoe Keene gets open. That 3, when she lets it go, tell me that moment for you on the sideline.
I feel like that moment to me is the same moment it is every time in a game when a scenario like that happens. I trust my athletes to put the ball in the hoop when we need to. And a lot of our girls are really good perimeter shooters, and I think that helps us. But that one was special. That one, getting the assist from Evie, Zoe's wide open, and you can, as a coach, you watch your kids shoot the ball a lot, and you could tell. It just left their hands, and you're like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. And if you watch back, we talk a lot about team efforts, and if you look, the bench knows.
Yeah.
The bench already knows. The bench is already on their feet. They're already excited, and so it was a great feeling to be a part of that.
What a week for her, by the way. I think on Sunday she announced her commitment. She's going to play basketball and golf at Concordia, then has that Tuesday. Is this about as big a week as it gets?
I mean, I think at her current stage of life, it's probably as big as it can get, but Zoe's a very talented individual. I mean, she's got a long athletic career ahead of her in golf and basketball, and I think that this just sets the precedence of what greatness maybe can look like for her as she continues down the road.
You can say it, get in trouble. What's her better sport? Is she better in basketball or golf?
Oh, I mean, me and Dan Wolf could go back and forth all day on this, but I think that the thing she learns in golf translates really well to making her a successful basketball player. I mean, she's a state champion in golf, so I mean, I think we have to give her credit there, though. An individual and a team championship title in golf, I think technically that probably is going to win there.
That's pretty good. We had her on when she won. It was great and really humble about it. And I asked her that same question. She hedged her bet a little bit, I think, because it was in golf season. But after seeing what she did on Tuesday, no slouch in basketball. I want to go back. When we had you on this summer, knowing what the schedule is going to be like, you mentioned the heavy hitters to start. You went to Minot, and that's hometown. What was that like being back there as a coach?
I mean, it was my first time as a head coach back, second time as an assistant. It's always a little weird because they put on a huge addition. So where I used to park in high school is now a gym. So that's a little, I don't know why that's what sticks out to me. It makes it a little weird.
Yeah.
It was nice though. It was nice to see old friends and family and have that support of people who, some people didn't even at the time know that I was now the head coach.
No
so it's
kidding.
kind of nice that people in the community seeing that and seeing our efforts there. And honestly, we played on a pretty good game there, even though the scoreboard might say something different. We had a lot of really, really good stretches where we had some good answers and battled with Minot, and it kind of gave us some glimmers of the potential of the rest of the season that was to come.
It's a game night tonight, playing Moorhead. What's the fun of that? You take a mini break out of conference play to play a pretty solid Moorhead team that you're going to have in your gym.
Yeah, it's nice to have like a non-conference game to maybe work on something here or there and just get different looks. Every team and everybody plays basketball so different. So it's fun to get a game that's going to give us something a little different that maybe we can learn or take with us as we come into here this last little swing of a month of basketball and have some things going for us. Moorhead's in no like they're a very competitive team and they're very comparable to us. When you look at their schedule and some of the teams they played, they've beat West Fargo, North, and Red River, same as us. And the point spread looks pretty comparable. And size-wise and matchup-wise, we look like two kind of equal teams coming into a pretty big, maybe border battle, you could call it, today.
I want to ask, because we had Beth Maher on, who's the head coach of Shanley. It might have been before you guys played, and this is your first game out of the Christmas break. I think got everybody's attention, Morgan. You beat them, and we know what Shanley has, obviously. So now you've got wins over Shanley and Horace. Has this changed the trajectory of what you maybe think can happen for your team this year?
Maybe selfishly, no. I think I knew where I always wanted to be with these athletes in our program, right? I have a vision, and I've fortunately been an assistant in the program, and I know the skills I had coming in, which gives me a fortunate opportunity. I think the vision has still always been the same for me personally, and I think we're very capable of a goal of, we are a state bid team, and we are worthy of a mix of being in that mix of battling for one of those 4 spots in the EDC to take on a battle at state.
If I told you, what have you learned maybe that you didn't know going into this? Like, what's been the most surprising thing to be a head coach?
Ironically, it's that I need to account for more time at practice for the girls to catch up every day with each other. Like every day the first couple of times I was like, all right, this is a perfect practice plan. We're ready. This is going to be it. And I, fortunately for my teaching experiences, have some ability to read a room. And I'm like, all right, we need to just add 5 minutes here so someone can tell this story about what happened during this class or over the weekend.
Yeah, yep.
They're kids too. Like they need to have a release and have a break. And so practice planning has been challenging. Albeit like finding the right things and the right mixes, and then also ensure we get the critical things and things we need in to be successful in a game is probably one thing.
All right, I can hear in the background what's going on. Tell me on a typical day, because my son is 6.5, so he's in first grade. What's going on? Tell us, because he never tells me about gym class. What do you do in gym for elementary kids? I'm dying to know.
Yeah. Sorry about the noise.
No, you're fine. It's great.
I thought our office was going to be a little bit quieter than it is, but Fridays are always an exciting day for us here at my school. I actually teach at Horace Elementary. But this week we're wrapping up our volleying unit. For those who maybe are more sport driven, it's like the basics of volleyball. And so the skills that go into that. And today we're playing a game called Gaga Ball. And so all the kids are kind of standing in an octagon pit and they're volleying the ball back and forth. And if they get hit in the feet with the ball, then they're out, and it's loud and they're excited and yelling. And so as you can tell, the game probably just got going, and then they just got started, and they're all excited to kind of get class started.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, last thing. If you had to run the 400 hurdles right now, how long would it take you to do it?
Ooh, you had to add the hurdles in there, didn't you?
That's your jam, I thought. No?
I mean, it is, but coaching has really taken a toll on the personal fitness. There's not as many minutes in a day to work out, film and scout and those things. Thankfully, I have a great assistant staff and athletes that do some of those things independently, but 400 hurdles, I'm saying I could still do it under 2 minutes. Like right now, if we go outside right now, I get 20 minutes to warm up.
Yeah.
I'm saying 2 minutes or less if I'm running alone. If you're out there running with me, I'm going 90 seconds.
Well, first, if I'm running with you, you could do it probably in a minute. I'm going to tell you that right now, because I would just slow everything down. But there's no doubt you could do that. It's great to see you. Congratulations on the big win. Good luck tonight. We'll talk soon, okay?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me again. I look forward to next time.
Good to see you. There she goes, Morgan Milbrath, head coach of the Sheyenne girls basketball team, currently just a half game out of second place in the EDC standings. Mustangs now have wins over Shanley and Horace. Let's keep an eye on them in the EDC girls race here as we hit the halfway mark for home. You look at the up-to-date standings. I don't know if many had Sheyenne in the mix before the season began. We knew Horace was good, knew Davies was going to be good, figured Shanley with what they were bringing back was certainly going to be good. Shout out to Morgan, first-year head coach. Got them with a couple of really impressive wins. And by the way, the teams they lost to in non-conference, Williston has a player who just scored 50 the other night,
Bismarck, who's always good. Mandan's really good this year. And Minot, who's the best team in the state. Minot has Lily Bell and Maggie Fricke back for their senior year, who won the title as 8th graders back in 2022. Now they're looking to cap off their careers with a state championship here in 2026. Back in Bismarck, too. Heck of a job what's going on there. Eric, should we break? Because I don't know if you saw, we got some breaking Minnesota Twins news. So let's do this now. We come back, some monster Minnesota Twins news to wrap up the first hour of Hot Mic here on a busy Friday. Got busier just now. Back after this. Well, leave it to the Twins to give us a bombshell on a Friday morning, 2 weeks before pitchers and catchers are set to report. The Twins and Derek Falvey have mutually agreed to part ways. Email just came in here about 5 minutes ago. The Twins announced the club and former president, baseball and business operations, Derek Falvey, have mutually agreed to part ways. Executive Vice President, General Manager Jeremy Zoll will continue leading the Twins baseball department. Executive Chair Tom Pohlad will assume interim oversight of the club's business operations. This is from Tom Pohlad, who wrestled control from his brother, Joe, earlier this offseason. That made for probably some awkward Thanksgiving conversations. Tom Pohlad said, over the past several weeks, Derek and I had thoughtful and candid conversations about leadership structure and the future of the club. We reached a shared understanding that the needs of the organization are evolving and that a leadership transition is the best way to move forward. I want to thank Derek for everything he's contributed to the organization. When he joined the Twins 9 years ago, it was in many ways a watershed moment for this franchise. His leadership was transformational. He helped modernize every aspect of our baseball operations and led with strong values, intention, and purpose. Created a culture grounded in learning and the belief that organizations grow when people grow. And under his leadership, the Twins captured 3 division titles and made 4 postseason appearances. This is shocking, honestly. We're 2 weeks out from boots on the ground in Fort Myers, and the Twins... By the way, have these limited partners ever showed up? Is that happening? Remember we were told that in July? It's now February, and we still haven't heard anything on that. Yeah, I mean, this is, frankly, I mean, you have to think that with a new guy running the ship, this is Tom Pohlad and wasn't Joe, that how this reads is Tom was saying, thanks, but you're done. We're going to go in a different way. And they just made they've made minor moves this entire offseason. They haven't done anything of consequence. Whether it was we mentioned the trade of Eddie Julienne the other day. They got Taylor Rogers back, who was an all-star closer for him before they dealt him before the lockout season of 2021. Frankly, things of the Twins shouldn't shock me anymore. This one does. Just scanning social media briefly on this, that follow baseball, that this is a surprising move. And you can the moves that they made, and obviously let's just take out what happened at the end of last season. I know we got to get to break because we're over on time here. I mean, we can maybe do this around 10:20 if we have some time. Like the 5 biggest moves that Falvey made and how many actually worked out, that requires some deeper thought there. But if you take away the 10 trades that they made in July, I'm just talking the 5 biggest Twins moves. I mean, the trading of Josh Willingham actually worked out okay because he was not going to work. Yeah, this is unbelievable. Only the Twins can do something like this. All right, let's break. More on that coming up later on in the show. When we come back, we're heading to Alabama. Senior Bowls tomorrow. We'll check in how Cole Payton is doing with his mom. Lynda's going to join us when we start hour 2 of Hot Mic after this.
This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 on this Friday, final hour of the week. Special segment, of course, with my dad coming up in about a half hour. We talk about weather. The amount of snow that upstate New York is getting is nothing to joke at. Now, what is something to laugh at, if you were all watching this week, those inclined of the Senior Bowl practices going on in Mobile, I believe on Tuesday, I heard them say on the NFL Network that they got a cold warning happening in Alabama, which they're not used to. We saw the amount of winter weather that moved across the southeastern part of the country, but we actually have boots on the ground that can give us the lowdown on that. As the Senior Bowl is tomorrow at 1:30 on the NFL Network. Former Bison quarterback Cole Payton will be part of the game. We're super pumped to have Cole's mom, Lynda, join us this morning from Mobile to give us the load. First down, can you give us a weather report? Is it actually cold?
It's about 58 today right now and sunny, but for the game tomorrow, it's forecasted to be 33, sunny and windy. So, normal weather for me. Probably a little warmer than it is for you guys, but down here they are freaking out.
They don't know what to do with it. All right, so you got there yesterday. Just tell me about what this experience was like, and then and seeing Cole out in the field yesterday.
It's been amazing. Watching Cole from home the first 2 days was really fun. Seeing him just get his footing and have a good time with the guys out there on the field, holding his own, showing everyone he belongs there. It's been a lot of fun. And yesterday getting to actually see it in person, just the atmosphere it's amazing. There's so many people there, all the families. We ran into families in the airport. It's a really amazing experience to be a part of.
All right, let's go back. Watch it on TV, because obviously when you watch on TV, the quarterback is always on. It's a little different now because they're going to other stuff. How was it frustrating? Like, hey, I want to see more of what my boy's doing.
Yeah, it was funny because you'd watch it and then they'd pan off to something and be like, they're doing a drill over here, and then they'd pan off to the O-line drills, and then they'd pan over to something else, and then you'd watch some clips on social media later, and you'd be like, oh, I never saw that. When did that happen? So that was, it was just like, I was excited to get down here to see it in person so we could focus on what we wanted to focus on.
What was, I guess, it's one thing, you've been to countless games. I don't know how many practices you've actually gone to. What has this been like because this is different than any other practices. These are job interviews he's had for the last couple days.
Yeah, they are. And so I've kind of tried to, just remind myself that I do not know anything, and I don't know what they're looking for. So, just to enjoy it and embrace it and know that Cole knows what he's doing. Cole has everything he needs to do, what he needs to do to get where he wants to be. And so I just have to leave all that on. I have to just leave that at the door, walk in, and just enjoy myself. So that's what I'm trying to do this weekend.
I know we talked before Senior Day about how nerve-wracking game day is. How is what's the level of nerves for this?
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
This is, like you said, it's a job interview. This whole week for him has been a job interview for all these young players that are down here. They are interviewing for the next step of their life. And it's kind of nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I know Cole has prepared for this. And if he can do anything, he will do it. He's going to make the most of this opportunity that he's been given. And that's all I can do is just believe in that, because I know it to be true.
Now let's rewind here for people that don't know what the last 7-8 weeks have been like since we saw him play in Fargo for the final time. I saw you guys in Nashville, obviously, at the Payton ceremony. But, Lynda, give us the last 8 weeks after he gets hurt, and then you can take it from there of what the last 2 months have been like for you and him.
So he gets hurt. He flies out to Philadelphia, gets surgery on his thumb, comes back, starts rehab, graduates from college, flies out to California, started training with Excel, working with Jake Heaps for his quarterback work, meeting the other players that are out there. and he's just been grinding since then. I mean, anything he can learn, anything he can do. He started throwing three weeks ago, I think.
Man.
He was able to start throwing again. And the first week was a little hard. And then he just turned his corner and, kept doing all the work to get here. So it's been very fun to hear him and hear his stories about, being out there and just, I mean, he's at the facility sun up to sundown. So yeah, he's in the offices just picking people's brains. What can you tell me? How can you help me? What do I need to know? What do I need to do different? How do I, he is just grinding away and doing everything he can to prepare himself.
So what you said there, those are major life moments. I had him on the show, I think, right after he graduated. Like, that's regardless of, obviously there's frustration with getting hurt, but then graduating from college, that's a big deal, regardless of whatever was going on with football. And then relocating, those are major life things. So have you had even a chance to really see him?
No, he came home for Christmas for a few days, and then he was off to California, and then we saw him in Nashville for a few minutes. And, in him being at college in general, just getting the opportunity to come watch him play football, we've been able to see him through that. But we don't get to see him too often, and I try to check in here and there, but I know he's busy and focused, and so it's just, how was your week? What did you do? And that's about what we get. And I'm just so, just happy for him that he's getting to go through this process. And so we miss him, but this is where he needs to be and what he wants to do. And so we're 1,000,000% behind him.
As mom, I have to ask, because last year, I think he told me that was the most serious he'd ever been hurt with the shoulder. To have the thumb, especially knowing what was ahead, what went through your mind? Like, man, this could throw everything off.
Yeah, it was really scary. We got a hold of his agent immediately after it happened, and the speed at which he was on it and found where Cole needed to be to get it taken care of. And, the doctor we spoke with, and they were all like, we've got this. We'll get him there. That's the plan. That's why you're here. And I know Cole is so driven and dedicated to his own health and rehab and taking care of himself that he was going to do everything in his own power to get to where he needed to be. And so it was a little, frustrating and a little like, why this, why now? But you can only think about that for 2 seconds, and you got to move on to, okay, it happened, now I got to make it better. And so I tried to just, we're all as supportive as possible, and, just encouraging, and he was doing everything he needed to do. And, knowing that he rehabbed his shoulder so well, and just thankful that this wasn't, the kind of injury that was going to take that kind of time to rehab. So just thankful for that too.
Yeah, that was a long one that he had. Obviously, that happened October of 24, and he was cleared in March? It was right before spring football, right?
Yeah. So, he knows how to take care of himself, and he knows how to follow the rules to get where he needs to be. So
I want to read something. I tweeted this out yesterday. This is from the NFL Network broadcast. You were there, so obviously you didn't hear it. The NFL Network guy said, Cole's had a good week. He can drive the ball. He came here with people knowing about him, but will give more teams around to get more look at him. He certainly helped himself. What goes through your mind when you hear that?
I'm just incredibly proud of him, because he knows that these are his shot. This is his chance. He's like, I just need give me the chance, and I'm going to prove myself. And he has done it over and over and over again. And, he stuck through a lot. He's proven what kind of human being he is. And not just a football player, but just the dedication, the drive, the commitment he has to his team, himself, this opportunity. And it's just, I'm just so impressed with. They're young men. They're so young, and it's just so all of them. It's just impressive to watch these guys because they know that this is their big showcase. This is their biggest interview, right now, and they've got to perform and do well, and they're working hard to do that. And Cole is, really, put himself out there and said, "Here I am."
All right, enough football stuff. Now, here's the big stuff. Have you had a chance to see him? Are you going to have a chance to visit, have dinner, any of that over the next little bit?
Hopefully, yeah. We saw him for a few minutes last night at the hotel after they had meetings and stuff. And there's a parade tonight, so hopefully we'll see him, during the parade. And I think they have dinners planned. Tonight they might be able to do whatever they want for dinner. And I'm hoping maybe Saturday after the game we'll probably see him a little bit. But I know I try to, we go and we see him just like we would do when we would go to games, for North Dakota State. And you go to the hotel and see the guys. And so we get to see him there. But I also know that if he has a free moment, he doesn't want to spend it with us. He wants to be studying the playbook or watching film from practice to see what he can do better. And so, and it's been a long, hard week. And so they are tired. And it's like, meetings are over. It's bedtime. So.
I know we were visiting off air. You're down there with a contingent of family. How much more does this make it like it's like a game day in Fargo that you've experienced time and time again?
Yeah, it's kind of like it was funny because we were talking about that yesterday, just kind of walking around. And, when we would travel for North Dakota State football, you had all your families that you've known for 4 years, and you'd get to the hotel and you'd see everybody, and we'd run into each other at restaurants or make plans to see each other, and then know there was going to be a big tailgate. And it's different. It was really great to see Randy here. Love that support from North Dakota State. Love Randy. Love his support. He's an amazing human being too. But it's just different to be there, and I don't know these players. I don't know these families, and it's very, very different in that respect. But you still feel like I'm rooting for these guys because I know what they've put into it. So from that perspective, it's still it's a little bit different, but it's a really cool experience. I'm just really thankful we get to be a part of it.
Have you made plans? Will you do the combine as well, or are you not going to go to that?
Yeah, we're going to go down.
Okay.
We'll go on Friday because the quarterbacks and then wide receivers work out on Saturday. So we'll be down there on Friday. Another thing is like, you just don't get to go experience. I mean, you just don't get these things they're once in a lifetime and only for a few people.
Correct.
So
You're absolutely right.
You gotta just do it and feel it and see it. And so,
Well, I've said on the show, I mean, there's a possibility at the combine he's throwing to Bryce Lance, which that could be remarkable if that happens.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, I'm excited that they get to be there at the same time, working out together. So because I know they're pretty close, and Bryce is a great kid, and I'm super pumped for him too. So
I really appreciate you doing this. One last thing, we know it's a big thing in Fargo. How big a deal is this in Omaha, in your hometown? That what he's doing is it being talked about? Is this a big deal going on back home?
A little bit. There's not big all over the news or anything. We'll see what happens after the Senior Bowl, when he plays. But they're real focused on the Huskers and what's happening with local sports, which is fine. But they do every now and then. There's some Cole Payton talk, but
I got a feeling that's going to change over the next couple months. I believe that. I'm not just telling you that because you're on with me. I think that's going to be a whole lot different over the next couple months.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Cole's going to he just keeps working hard and get himself on the radar of everyone.
Well,
that's what he wants,
here's the one weird clip I heard from, like, he's left-handed. Like, did they not watch any tape? Like, they didn't know he was a left-handed I don't know if you heard that. Like, he's a lefty. Like, that's
I think they just like to have things to talk about, so they're gonna like.
Well, that's sports broadcasters. I'll raise my hand on that. There's no doubt. It's great.
Let's talk about this.
It's great to see it. Thanks so much for doing this. Have a blast, and we'll catch up soon. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Lynda Payton joining us. That's Cole's mom from Mobile, Alabama, for tomorrow with the Senior Bowl at 1:30 on the NFL Network. That was great stuff. And, I always we did this a couple years ago. We had Cody Mauch's dad on from Mobile. We had Christian Watson's dad down there. It's one thing for the athlete. It's another they're bringing everybody with them. How big a deal it is. And that was a lot of fun to check in with Cole's mom there in Mobile. All right, we'll break. We come back. More on the breaking news. If you missed it, the Twins and Derek Falvey have mutually agreed to part ways. What this means again, the season starts in a couple weeks, and the Twins are without the guy who's built the team for the last 10 years. More on that. Final 40 minutes of the show coming up after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Our thanks to Lynda Payton. That was great stuff from Mobile. If you're just joining us and missed the breaking news at the end of the first hour, the Minnesota Twins and Derek Falvey have mutually agreed to part ways. He's been running the Twins, general manager, president of baseball ops, since October of 2016. Aaron Gleeman, who does an amazing job covering the Twins for The Athletic, tweets this out. Making a change of this magnitude 2 weeks before the start of spring training is legitimately shocking and certainly wouldn't have been planned by the Twins. Also of note, and I was thinking this as well, just a week ago, the Twins held their annual media luncheon. They had Twins Fest last weekend because the caravan was here a week ago yesterday in town. And Derek Falvey was the lead speaker at Twins Fest last weekend. Also, he tweets a text from a high-ranking official in another MLB team's front office, quote, "What the hell happened to Falvey?" Just, man, you just kind of shake your head like, really? Something happened. I was just going through this in the break of, the top deals, yay or nay, that Falvey made during his run as Twins GM. And there are some ones that will make you stop and think. And let's take, again, I'm not including the 10-player sell-off that happened at the end of last season. A couple of biggies. The one, Pablo Lopez coming in. The Twins got Pablo Lopez, Jose Salas, and Byron Churio from the Marlins for Luis Arraez. We say that one worked? Probably. I think that's been beneficial to the Twins. Lopez has been pretty good. Here's one that didn't. Ryan Presley to the Astros for Gilberto Celestino. He was just an outfielder. And Jorge Alcala, who they let go last year, who never really mounted anything. That trade did not work. Presley became an all-star and was a world champion, right? He won a World Series with the Astros, I believe. I thought he was the closer for the Astros when they won the World Series. So that one didn't work. Let's just get that one out there, that was not a good move.
He did win a World Series, but
I thought.
Isn't he now they're
he is.
He actually
he's
back in the organization.
He did. He got asked to come back. Presley did by Derek Shelton a couple weeks ago. He's not. I don't think he's a coach. I think he's a team ambassador. But he's back. That one, that's a big no-no there. They traded Nick Gordon to the Marlins for Steven Okert. That did not work. Who is the guy they traded the deadline in 24 that they released 6 days after they got him? I think it was from the Rays. I can't remember his name. That trade did not work out. The Jose Barrios trade is another one. Let's look at that one when that went down, because that was right before the deadline in 2021. The Twins that day got Austin Martin and Simeon Woods Richardson back from Toronto. How would we grade that one? C, probably. I mean, Barrios has done what he's done. He was injured and didn't pitch for the Blue Jays down the stretch for them to make the World Series. Austin Martin, have we seen enough yet out of him? Simeon Woods Richardson's been okay.
I think that's a solid C if I were to grade that one. Let's see a couple other deals here that they made. What's the other big one I'm forgetting that they did right before the the Josh Donaldson one. How about the Josh Donaldson trade? That was a salary dump. We know that. What are the Twins? Because the other one is the Sonny Gray deal. I want to get to the Sonny Gray. Let's do Sonny Gray first because that one might be – and then there's one other one I want to do too because he's been traded a couple times. You got to be more specific here. Sonny Gray Twins trade. Here's what they gave up. March 13th, 2022, the Twins acquired veteran right-hander Sonny Gray and minor league pitcher Francis Peguero in exchange for pitching prospect Chase Petty. He was the first-round pick for the Twins in 2021. Eric, can you look that up? Let's see. I don't know. Has Chase Petty made the majors yet? I'm not a great Cincinnati Reds mind. We have a few, actually, fans I know that watch the show that might be able to tell me if he's made it to the majors. Because that trade, I would say, definitely benefited the Twins 2 years ago. Gray was awesome. They won the division, and then they decided they weren't going to pay him and moved on. All right, go for it. What do you got on as Chase Petty made it to the major leagues with Cincinnati?
So he has made it to the majors.
Okay.
He has pitched 3 times. April 30th against St. Louis.
You said 3 appearances?
3 appearances.
Okay.
Just hang on, it gets better.
Okay.
April 30th against St. Louis, went 2 1/3, 7 hits, 9 earned runs.
That's not great.
Took the loss.
Not great.
About a week and a half, 2 weeks later, 5/11, he pitched at Houston. 3 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 6 walks. His best start was against St. Louis when he threw .2 innings, gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, no strikeouts.
Okay, so let's just say that worked out for the Twins.
Yeah, I'd say that worked out for the Twins.
All right, here's one I want you to look up here because I know this one didn't. August of 2022. If only Strecker were here, he'd love this segment here on ripping apart the Twins trades. This is right before the deadline. This one did not work. The Twins traded Tyler Mahle. They got Tyler Mahle from the Reds. What did they give up? Christian Encarnacion Strand, who's pretty darn good, and Spencer Steer, who may have been an all-star this year with the Reds. If not, he was pretty darn close. Mahle pitched, I think, 7 games, and then his arm fell off. The Twins have had a bunch of those guys that they traded for, and they were hurt when they came back. I know Steer has been really good. Because anytime I see the Reds and Steer is cracking home runs out of the short porch at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. That one is a F minus deal there. I don't care. Mahle was here and then gone. He's still pitching, by the way. Mahle signed a deal with the Giants earlier this month, so he's going to be pitching in San Francisco.
Steer has not been an all-star yet.
He's what was his stat? What was his stat line this past season, 2025? He was good.
Give me 1 second.
I'll look up Encarnacion Strand, by the way.
His stat line this year, AB's 509, 238 average, 21 homers, 75 ribbies, 7 stolen bases, and 723 OPS.
That's really good. You take a guy hitting 20 bombs and 75 RBIs, right?
Well, in that ballpark, yeah, anybody can hit one out.
Well, I'd still take a guy hitting. I mean, he could play first base for you. The Twins don't have a first baseman.
Yeah, they do. They got Josh Bell.
No.
That dude hits nukes.
No. They didn't have to trade. They could have had him. They had him in-house. Anyway, you could litigate this for a while. I'd say it's a mixed bag. Lopez, good deal there. That one worked out. The Sonny Gray deal worked out. The Tyler Mahle deal, no. Jose Barrios, kind of. Interesting legacy he leaves behind.
Encarnacion Strand, by the way, not much better.
Not great. Yeah,
he was bad.
The other thing to look at, and maybe we'll do this before the show's done, is the first round picks that they've had, and actually how many are with the team. Let's do that maybe before we're done. But we have to break because we come back. My dad will join us from lovely Wintry, upstate New York. We'll give him a break from snow blowing and shoveling on the roof That's coming up. We come back.
If that was me and you, if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at what look at to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? Come on. I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
Well, here it is on a Friday. We got them from in between snow blowing, shoveling, cleaning off the roof. My dear old dad. What have you been dealing with here? Oswego's been getting pounded the last 3 days, huh?
It's crazy. It's just nonstop. A foot every time it snows, you get a foot or better.
Holy cow.
Today's the first. Last night was the first night we didn't get any, so hopefully it's done for a while.
That's enough.
Crazy. The lake is just pounding us right now. And we're not the worst. Up north is really just nasty.
How bad is it? Are they getting just north of you here?
Oh, yeah, they're getting 5 feet. They got 5-6 feet at one time. Jesus, it's just, you can't, there's no place to put it anymore.
So
we only goes so far.
Yeah, we got, Dad sent a couple photos in of the house here. This is of your driveway, I believe you sent me, and you can't even see. The amount of snow on the garage is alarming. I can just tell you that. What's on there?
I'm waiting for that. That's a steel roof, so that should come off. But it's
theoretically
sticking right now.
I can't even, I mean, your truck is buried out there, man.
Yeah,
we're looking at
crazy.
it right now. Holy cow!
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Going out the driveway, I got to go real slow because I can't see any cars coming.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. For people that don't know, it's a 2-lane road that Dad lives on, which people go way too fast on anyway. That you got to creep out, right? You got to put your nose of the car out so you can let people know you're coming.
All you do is I wait for somebody to blow the horn. That way I know somebody's coming.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
Holy cow.
And you can't, if even if the plow just went by and winged it all back,
of course.
Still they don't do your driveway, so.
See,
they did take my mailbox with them, so I got to get that.
They did it again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the second time this year.
Oh, jeez.
So
that's like an annual tradition.
Yeah, I think they're mad at me or something because they keep getting it.
And they're mad at me because I called them out on the show, and they continue to build the wall in front of my driveway because we live on the corner. Yeah. So,
That's what you get for having them listen.
I appreciate them watching. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah. We'll get this guy.
Well, don't go too much here, all right? I don't want you hurting yourself.
No, I'm taking my time. That's all. There's nothing else I can do. I can't get on the roof because it's a steel roof.
No, you're not going up there. No way. Well, and the countdown is on. I was just saying here, you're under 2 weeks away from heading to sunny Florida here in a little bit.
I can't wait, man. It's just to get out of here for a little while.
Because Daytona is coming up. Are they racing already? Or is that coming up next? What's going on?
No, they're supposed to have a race this weekend at Bowman Gray, the Clash, but I do believe it's canceled because it's buried in snow there.
Oh goodness!
And that's in North Carolina.
Eric's telling me it hasn't been canceled officially yet. So, but
no, I see Saturday's stuff was canceled, but I don't know what else is.
Man, oh man.
It's just crazy, yeah.
Well, we were just talking with Cole Payton's mom in Alabama, and they're freaking out about how cold it was down. They had winter warning down there because they don't know what to do with it. You've been down there before when like that. They still don't know how to handle it.
It's crazy. They plow with garbage trucks. It's who knows. I mean, this is stuff we haven't had this. This is 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, correct.
It hasn't been that bad the last few years, so we're paying for it now.
Well,
it's because the lake is so warm.
Yes.
That's why.
So what?
I mean, when I was a kid, the lake was frozen. You could go right out 100 yards out in the lake on the ice, But now it's It's just it never freezes.
That's Lake Ontario for people that don't know. That's right on our hometown, one of the 5 Great Lakes. So that tells you how cold it was if you could go out and do that.
When we were kids,
crazy.
It was just we used to go right out on it, and they had huge mounds up. It was
That's wild.
It's crazy. Now it's nothing.
I will save all of our prop bets for next week, for next Friday, for right before the game. Just give me, I guess, now we've had a few days. What do you make? Are you excited about this game? Does it do anything for you, or not so much?
No, not really. The two teams I wanted both got beat. So it's, but I mean, last night they had on a game from when he threw the interception. Wilson threw the interception.
Oh, yeah, the last time they played in the Super Bowl, yes.
Yeah, and that was crazy.
Gift wrap to Brady for another Super Bowl. Just say it, yeah.
Yes, that's what it was too. They definitely had him beat.
Hey, if we get that kind of game, let's go. I'm all for it. Just give me a close game. That's all you want. I will say this: Denver's apparent lack that they didn't know snow was coming or weather was coming was odd. I didn't understand what they did in that game.
It's who knows, but it ended up ruining the game. Really, I mean, they couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
It was 10-7. Isn't that the final?
Correct. It was.
I mean, nobody wants, but that's they both had good defenses too. So.
Yep. Patriots have got their guy, a quarterback now, so they suffered for 2 years, and now here they are again in the Super Bowl. Just unbelievable.
This could go out a while, too.
Oh, man. On the other side, with Seattle, and we've talked about it plenty, it's going to get hammered to death next week. On Sam Darnold, who my team ruined him. He gets resurrected with the Vikings. The Vikes don't want him, and now here he is. He's got a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought he was going to do beans, but, geez, he's proven everybody wrong, so – we'll see. It all takes is one bad game, and then. But hey, he's there.
Right? You got to.
The Super Bowl.
How many Viking fans would love that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Considering they won 9 games with bad quarterback play most of the year. If he's there, I mean, What are we talking about? They won 14 games last year. You know what I mean? Like, they probably take the next step. I don't know.
Yeah, they got to be kicking themselves, saying, "Well, why did we just do that?" But
correct.
They put all their marbles on McCarthy, and can't stay on the field.
No, that did not work. All right, got a couple
never
of
know.
things.
That could change too. So.
By the way, headline on ESPN's baseball website: Cashman pushes back on notion the Yankees running back the same roster. You got Cody Bellinger back, gave him $160 million.
I was glad to hear that, but
because I wanted him. Actually, I wanted the Mets to go get him, but
I wanted Boone out of there. I still do, and I think they're not going to go nowhere till they get him out of there.
But you're getting Garrett Cole back. That's that's not like getting just some guy. You're getting the best pitcher probably in the game back. That's all right.
When you have the talent that this team has had for years now, and have got squat, you got to change. Look at the NFL. They don't look at that. Boom, you're out of here. Go beat it.
You surprised the Bills can McDermott?
Not at all.
No,
not at all. You've had the best player in the NFL for the last 8 years, and what have you done? You've lost it.
They lost him. They lost the best. They lost him a Mahomes 3 times. I don't know what you're going to do. Or they lost to Joe Burrow. I don't know what else you're going to do.
Yes.
They had their chance. I will freely with you though. We talked about it before the playoffs started. I thought. Yeah. Buffalo had all of the momentum that, he played bad though. He played poorly in the game. Allen did at Denver. He was not good.
His whole year went by how he played.
Yes,
and that's not what you want. He had no receiver to speak of, none. Diggs is sitting there laughing his butt off. When all they had to do is, if Allen would have took a cut and paid like Brady did for years. Just to accomplish as a team.
That's true.
But no, I want that $100 million because my wife makes $100 million, so I want to keep up with her. It's not. They didn't learn anything from what Brady did.
No, that's true.
And I don't care. Brady set this. I never really cared for him because it just sick of seeing the same guy win. But you can't take it away.
He did. Well, apparently you can't take the Hall of Fame away because we haven't said it one word on the show. I was saving it for you. The whole Belichick not getting into the Hall of Fame. What do you make of that?
Let me put it this way: who votes for that?
Media does.
And who did he treat the worst?
The media.
So that's just a payback. Is all. The guy belongs there. I mean, did you see Jimmy Johnson?
I definitely saw what Jimmy Johnson said. Yes.
On McAfee show.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, he did not mince any words on how he felt about that.
But it's,
no. It just
What are
makes
they-
it so petty. It's so dumb.
It's karma.
It's
karma.
I don't know if it's that. It's just so,
I do believe whoever voted or didn't vote
Yeah.
should come clean and say.
I
why
agree
they-
with that. Absolutely, votes
Come
should be
clean
made
because
public
it
on
makes
that.
absolutely no sense at all.
No.
None.
No.
So come clean and say why you did
Yep.
that.
Not great. All right.
And they never will.
No. Well, some have come out and said it, but we need to know. Like there were 11 guys that didn't. We need to know the 11 that didn't.
How many people vote?
50.
50 people.
Yeah.
So
So
how
30,
many did
and
get?
he needed 40 to get in. So obviously there was at least 11 that didn't. So
You need 40 out of the 50.
40 out of
to
the 50 to get elected. Yep.
get- And Eli didn't get in again either.
Eli
did he?
Manning didn't. I don't get that either. That's
That's
so
another thing.
dumb.
You know, that's who knows.
he beat Brady both times in the Super Bowl. He beat the best team ever in the Super Bowl. It's over. There's no debate on it.
Especially beating the undefeated.
Yes, it's
That
over.
was, you know.
Over. All right, we got to go. Rest up, man, and
I will.
be well. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, man. I love you.
I love you too. There he goes.
Have a good day.
My dad gives us our best interview of the week to wrap things up here on this Friday. All right, we'll break. We come back. We'll get you set for a dynamite sports weekend. Lament the Twins a little bit more and get you out of here. Hot Mike will wrap up on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, wrapping things up here on this Friday. Great week of shows. Back next week. Get you ready for Super Bowl 60. You'll hear from one Gray Zabel or Bison All-American starting for the Seattle Seahawks. That'll be part of our Monday Spectacular. We'll check in with the Sundells and the Zabels next week. We'll get you locked and loaded for Super Bowl 60 coming up all next week on the show. That and a bunch of other fun guests we have planned for next week. So start February with us in style coming up on Monday. All right. Eric's been researching this, as have I, off the news of Derek Falvey and the Twins parting ways. We went through some of the trades that went down earlier. Falvey took over in the fall of 16, so his first draft was in 17. And the Twins had the number one pick. And that was between Royce Lewis and Hunter Green. And they went with Royce Lewis. That's an incomplete. I don't have Hunter Green's stats. I know he's pitched well for the Reds, but that was the debate that year. Their other first-round pick was Brent Rooker, who I believe is an all-star with the Athletics now. How'd that work out? Trevor Larnach was in 2018. Larnach's still with the team, surprisingly, because I thought they would have traded either him or who am I thinking? Matt Wallner. Gosh, had a brain fart there for a second. One of those two I thought was going to be gone. Corey Provis told us that. 2019, Keone Cavaco. He's not in the majors. 2020 is Aaron Sabato. He's the monster first baseman who was in St. Paul. 2021 was our guy Chase Petty, who got traded to the Reds in the Sonny Gray deal. Also, 2021 was Noah Miller. I have no idea who that is. 2022 is Brooks Lee. That's been okay. 23 is Walker Jenkins. That's the biggie. They're expecting Walker Jenkins to be with this team sometime this year. Charlie Soto, a pitcher in 2023. Kalen Culpepper was their first rounder in 24. They have high hopes on him. And then last year they had two picks, Merrick Houston, a shortstop out of Wake Forest, and then Riley Quick, a right-hander out of Alabama. It's kind of a mixed bag there. I'd say that's probably a solid B to B minus. I don't know how many picks you're supposed to hit on. Baseball's weird in hitting on first-round guys. It's not like football. Much more on the Twins coming up tonight in our news. All right, let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. All right, tonight we've got NDSU wrestling beginning at 7 o'clock, North Dakota State and Northern Colorado. You'll see it live here on Extra. Also going on, got golf coming up here in just a little bit. The Farmers Insurance Open beginning at 2 o'clock on the Golf Channel. Big Big Ten game tonight, Michigan State on Fox. And Princeton women's hoops, they're the only team ranked ahead of the Bison in the mid-major poll. They play today against Columbia, 5 o'clock on ESPNU. Tomorrow we're on the air at 1 o'clock, North Dakota State women's basketball as the Bison take on Oral Roberts, going for another win, their 18th in a row. Join us at 1 o'clock
on Extra. Also going on, Bison Wrestling on Sunday at 1 o'clock, their home finale against Air Force. Also this weekend, you got the Senior Bowl at 1:30 tomorrow. Tennessee UConn Women's Hoops, 11 a.m. on Fox. And NBC starts primetime hoops, Thunder and the Nuggets on NBC. We got to roll. Hope you enjoyed our show all week, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.